Hi guys, Bolts96 here, but the O is a 0, and we are back with the latest edition of looking at each Premier League team and one player from each of the other Premier League teams they're going to sign. And in this one we are looking at Brighton and Hove Albion. Now Brighton are having a brilliant season, they're playing really well, they're building on the prior successes of the last couple of seasons, and they've just got a really nice team, some really good football, and long may it continue because I enjoy watching this team play. So I'm going to be quiet now, and we are going to look at who I think they could sign to possibly improve that team further. Arsenal, Folarin, Balogun. Brighton have a few positions where they are pretty short, and striker is one of them. They have been relying on a 32-year-old Danny Welbeck who has an awful injury record, and an 18-year-old Evan Ferguson who, yeah, he is showing promise, but he is still only at the start of his career. Balogun has been playing brilliantly out in Liga, and this could be a very good choice for Brighton to bolster their striking options with a young, homegrown striker who has experience and will be looking to push on in the Premier League. Aston Villa, Luca Digne. Brighton currently only really have Estupiñán as a natural left back, and they need bolstering there. So I've looked at Digne at Aston Villa, a very good player with a shed load of experience, which I think Brighton do need more of. He won't be the cheapest of signings available, but I think Villa's signing of Moreno would lessen the value of the price tag that they'll be putting on Digne's head this summer. Bournemouth, Marcus Tavernier. If Bournemouth go down, I think they will struggle to hold on to a player in Tavernier, who they did only sign in the summer of 22. He has been a little inconsistent this season, but he is young and new to the league still, and in the games where he has played well, he has really impressed me. He's an agile midfielder with technical ability, and that's the exact type of player that Brighton will be looking at this summer, particularly with the likely departure of Caicedo. Brentford, Josh Da Silva. I've always liked watching Da Silva play. He's energetic, mobile, fast, combative, everything you like to see in a midfielder, and it's everything that fills Brighton's quota this summer in the middle of the pitch. As referenced previously, Caicedo will likely be on the move this summer, and they will need a replacement. I don't think Da Silva is quite at that standard, but he is a similar type of player, and Brighton would not have to break the bank entirely to get him. I think this would be a good move. Chelsea, Callum Hudson-Odoi. I did want to pick Colwill on a permanent deal after his loan, currently here at Brighton, but Chelsea may price them out for him, I think. So I've gone about this choice in a bit of a different way. Hudson-Odoi is currently out on loan in the Bundesliga, and he's doing okay, but I don't believe he's hitting the heights that he should be. I think this season his stock has finally dropped from a couple of years back when Bayern were after him. It is strange to think that he is still only 22, but I do see it as being time for him to find another team, and I believe Brighton will be in for a winger this summer. They need to improve their squad depth in that position, and Hudson-Odoi can play either wing. He will be in the last year of his contract, and Brighton could pick him up at cut price. His speed and direct style would definitely suit Brighton's wing play. Crystal Palace, Wilfried Zaha. Zaha's contract is up in the summer, and it isn't hard to figure out that there will be a number of clubs after him. Brighton might lose out on Zaha, as he would probably opt for a Champions League team if the option comes his way, which it almost certainly will. However, Brighton need more wingers, and they would be daft to not try and get Zaha in on a free transfer. He is a fantastic player, and it would be very exciting for the Brighton fans to nab the star man of a rival team and see him swap blue and red for blue and white. Everton, Niles Nkunku. Until very recently, I would not have said Nkunku would be much of an option for a Premier League side pushing for a place in European competition. However, his current loan stint at Saint Etienne is showing that he could actually become quite a player. Having only joined them 2 months ago, he has played 10 games, scored 2 and assisted 5 playing as a left wing back. That is an unreal level of productivity. Yes, it is the French league, so I wouldn't get entirely carried away, but he clearly has ability and could provide good cover to a Superman on the left. Fulham, Paulo Gazzaniga. Not the most exciting choice of this list, but Gazzaniga's contract is up in the summer, so he will be a free agent. And looking at Brighton's options after Sanchez in goal, they only really have Jason Steele. Gazzaniga is a step up in that department and is currently playing regularly in La Liga. He'd be a very tidy backup goalkeeper in that squad. Leeds United, Jack Harrison. Harrison is one of Leeds' better players, and he'd probably be one of the ones to leave if they do get relegated this season. Brighton would be a likely destination if that were to transpire. They need more depth on the wings, and he would add that. He's a tricky player who does pop up with big goals when his team needs them. He isn't entirely prolific, but he has still directly contributed to 8 goals in 24 Premier League games so far, which is a decent turnaround for a Leeds side struggling for goals. So I think he would up those numbers within the Brighton squad if given the chance. Leicester City, Daniel Amate. Brighton do need to add more depth to their centre-back options. They currently only have Webster, Dunk and Van Heck. They do also have Colwill, but he'll be back at Chelsea in the summer. Amate will be a very clever addition to the squad. Plenty of experience, but still in his prime years, and Leicester wouldn't be demanding mad money for him. He does have a bit of versatility about him as well, and he could double up in midfield if and when needed, which is another position that Brighton will be looking to add to this summer. Liverpool, Sepp van den Berg. Van den Berg has been out on loan for the past few seasons, and I am honestly unsure how his Liverpool career is going to go. I do think the idea is still to keep his development up, out on different loans, and that he will eventually be a part of the squad, but he could also go the Marco Grujic way of just having loan after loan until he eventually gets offloaded. I like Van den Berg, and I think he is a good player. He would be a nice signing for Brighton, whether on loan or permanently, and he would add some really good depth to that defence in both centre-back and right-back. Manchester City, Cole Palmer. Not many options available to Brighton here, but Cole Palmer could be a decent one on loan. It would only be a loan, as I do think Man City see him as being a squad player in the future. They could look to loan him out for some game time for next season, and he would probably be quite an exciting player in those attacking midfield positions of an enjoyable Brighton team. Manchester United, Victor Lindelof. Lindelof is a decent centre-back, but he isn't first choice for Man United, and this summer could be a good chance for him to start again with a new team. Again, Brighton need more competition at centre-back, and I think Lindelof will be an excellent option there. They could probably get him for somewhere between 10 to 20 mil, and I think that he would be worth it at that price. Plenty of experience and would be a reliable player who is probably going to be the starting centre-back for Brighton. Newcastle United, Ryan Fraser. I know Fraser is a bit of a favourite for Eddie Howe, but it isn't enough to get him regular game time at Newcastle anymore, and it is only going to get harder for him to get into this improving team in the coming seasons. Brighton could pick him up at a cheaper cost, and he would add some decent depth to their wings. Nottingham Forest, Orel Mangala. Brighton need more options in the centre mid, and Mangala could be that, a decent combative midfielder who would add a bit of steel in there and would be a nice choice in the games where they might need a bit more of a hard-hitting midfielder than what they currently have. Southampton, Nathan Tella. I don't know why more speculation isn't going round about Tella getting a move in the summer. He currently has 17 goals and 3 assists from 34 games in the Championship this season as a right winger. Again, Brighton need more wingers, and Tella would be an excellent option. Fast and with an eye for goal, he would be just what Brighton need to improve on in their squad. Spurs, Ryan Sessegnon. Sessegnon has been relatively unfortunate with injuries whilst at Spurs. He's had a couple niggly ones, but he is a good player, and I don't think they'd opt to sell him. But they could look to loan him out to give him game time and get him back on his feet after a couple of recurring injuries. Sessegnon would compete for left back and left wing in that Brighton squad and would be a very fun player to watch in that dynamic team. West Ham United, Aaron Cresswell. Cresswell isn't getting any younger, but I've liked him for a long time and he could be a good backup at left back for Brighton. An ever dependable player who will always give you a 7 out of 10 performance, and considering he will be available on a free, he'd be a very good cheeky pickup for a season or two. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Raul Jimenez. He hasn't been the same player since his horrific injury. That's the truth of it. But he is still a goal scorer deep down, and he would add to Brighton's slim striking options. I think he could do with a move away to get his confidence back up, and he could provide Brighton with a type of striker that they don't already possess. Who knows? He could pick his old form back up with this team. So there we have it, guys. That is who I think Brighton and Hove Albion could sign from the other Premier League teams in the summer. If you liked what you watched, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. And in the next episode we will be looking at Chelsea, so it is a big one. They need some improvement. It could be an interesting summer for them, and it could be an interesting video, so make sure you come back and check that one out. And please do remember, I'm across most of your other socials: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and of course YouTube. Twitch is where I do all of my streaming, so please do come and check me out on there. You could enjoy what you watch. Alright guys, thank you very much for coming on down, and I'll hopefully catch you on the next video.